what I'm really curious about is, so you've built Application Ally, BuildUp, and I know early on you also helped build Himayat. So could you tell us about your process of going from idea to implementation, like from 0 to 1? What did that process look like for you?
Yeah. It's really hard, I think. For me, Duke was really great with that, because we had a class that made you think through how to go from 0 to 1, right? It made you think going from 0 to 1 by testing assumptions with very less money or no money. So to give you an example, we were trying to diversify application. I were like, why don't we create a tool to help students recruit, right? Like a grown-up version of BuildUp, I guess, for college students. And they were like, okay, how are you going to test this? And I was like, okay, we're going to invest in making this amazing website, and we're going to hire salespeople, and then we're going to sell it, and then we're going to see how many people buy it. And they're like, okay, how much money are you going to need for this? And it was a lot. And they're like, you don't have this money. You're a student. So if I had to give you a week to test this, how would you do it? And they really taught us how to devise these extremely low cost assumption tests that determine whether there is a demand for your product, right? One, of course, you need to spend time with your customers. So if you don't know your customer really well, you can't design any product for them. You should never have an idea and then design the product. So even with BuildUp, we never thought of BuildUp. It's not an idea we had. Our customers came to us and said that, okay, but yes, you do study abroad, but I'm interested in this, I'm interested in this, I'm interested in this. And you hear it enough to be like, okay, let's build for this, right? So with this class, we wanted to test this product, and I was like, okay, well, we're going to need a website. We're going to need to do this. We're going to need to build the tech for this. And my professor was like, okay, but why don't you just build the website, say you have the tech for it, assign a price value to it, and put it out there and see if anyone buys it, and refund them once they do. And I was like, oh, you know what? That's actually crazy. And then first I was like, maybe we should just ask them whether they'd be willing to pay $7 or $20. He was like, no, charge them. See if they actually go and pay it, right? And so we ran this test, but the only thing we really needed to do was create a website on Wix for free. And the second thing we needed to do was run $10 worth of ads. And we had 7 people that bought a product that didn't exist. And we tested that there's a demand. For us, we proved that there's demand. And, and then you can be like, okay, how do I now take this ahead? Now it's like, let's build it, right? So really low cost assumption testing is a great way to think through whether that's something worth building. The second thing is, for me, that's something that's really helped is not taking on investments. Even so far right now, we haven't. Maybe at some point we will, but right now it's it's what we're putting into the company, and the revenue the company is generating that's just fueling operations for the past 4 years, right? So we're completely bootstrapped, but it gives us a lot of freedom to take a lot of risks and to ideate new products and kill new products and not worry about it, because you're not on borrowed money or time. It's really yours, and just having a slow pace of growth is completely fine. We're not claiming to go from 0 to 40,000 students in a year. My goal would be that we go from 0 to do 500 students this year really well. And if once we have something once that we're really proud of, we then think about scaling. Feeling that pressure to scale constantly when you don't have the product market fit is something that's really, founders often just fall into that pattern, and you don't need to do that. And finally, just a team. I think having a really good co-founder, having a solid team that's going to just be there through it with you is really important for 0 to 1, because in that journey of 0 to 1, you have a lot of losses, and dealing with it as a solo founder is very difficult. So, just kind of having a support team that also is feeling that sharing kind of those losses, but also sharing the victories to drive you. I think that's something that, is really important. Also, last thing I'll say, because you did mention Himayat, right? So Himayat is something I'm still working on. It's just a product we've had to change so many times because we don't feel like we have the customer market, we don't have the product market fit for it. And we've changed it 100 times, and we go back into customer discovery and back into customer discovery. And now we're finally at the point where we're like, okay, great, let's get the MVP out. But that took 3 years, and that's completely fine, because if we built for the wrong product, if we built it too early, 100% this would be a 1-year thing or a 2-year thing, and then you'd have to drop it because you've just built for the wrong audience. You don't know what you're doing. And so because it's such a different industry than what I'm currently used to, it's an issue I'm passionate about, but there are still so many gaps in it that I'm like, I don't know much about insurance. I need to speak and learn from insurance experts. I need to speak to maids. I don't have the lived experience of a maid. I have the lived experience of a student, and so I can design a product for a student. But if I'm going to design a product for like domestic workers, like I should have that, like I should know enough to do it. And that sometimes takes time. And so even with Himayat, like we are going to be launching our MVP in June, but like it's been a while. It's been 2.5 years for that. Which, at sometimes you're like, like excitement, you want to get it out fast, but it's also really important to get it out right.
Yeah. It's like taking your time to actually make sure it's
Yeah.
it's a good product or a good idea. Yeah. Which and I
Yeah.
feel like the definition keeps changing as you learn more.
Yeah, exactly.